So there's this cool book that we talked about. I know some of you need to read this book. This right here is the Red Bible, right? So this right here goes through how to build your business, right? The Millionaire Real Estate Agent, we always call it the MREA. We're going to go into one of the key fundamental models. And over the next couple of weeks, we'll probably go through most of the models here because I want to refresh this, get it where you guys are having that in your mind, and being able to continue to refine your business. So what we're going through is the economic model. So in the MREA, this is model number 1 of your business, right? So the economic model, but before we go into that, I always like to jump into 6 personal perspectives because this right here is the key for growth. So we're not going to go into all of these, but there's 6 of them. The first one's commitment to self-mastery. Next is commitment to the 80-20 principle. Next is move from E to P, so entrepreneurial to purposeful. The next after that is being learning-based, the foundation of your action plan. So like, let's continue to learn. And the next one's remove your limiting beliefs. And last one, be accountable. The one I want to talk about today is the be accountable, right? This is one of the ones where there's 2 sides to it. There's either the victim mentality or there's the accountable mentality. The reality is humankind loves to fall into the victim mentality. Woe is me, right? So here's kind of the difference. I just want to have you go through this because it's a lot of times having to jump into where are you at the moment and how you continue to push yourself to the accountable side, right? There's one of being a victim. You can, so life happens and reality shows up. You can either 1, don't seek reality. 2, you can be where you seek reality. So like, what is the situation? Okay, life happens. You can either fight that reality, right? Or you can acknowledge that it's there. Like, what's happening, right? The next one is blames. If everybody would do their job, or if the market wasn't so hard, right? Or you can own it, right? You can, instead of being like, hey, I'm going to blame something that is not something you control, you can own it and you can figure out, okay, if it's to be, then it's up to me, right? What do I want? How, like those kind of things. The next part is you can then either create and have those personal excuses in the victim side, or you can look for the possibilities and find solutions. And then the last one of that is you can either wait and hope that when things will change. I know a lot of agents are still just waiting for the market to change because then they'll have a good business again, right? Or you can get on with it.
There's John Mayer's song.
Yeah, there's John Mayer's song about that.
Waiting for the world to change.
Waiting for the world to change. Yeah, yeah.
There's a Michael Jackson song.
The opposite. Michael Jackson. That's not the opposite one. We should play those 2 songs. That would be pretty epic. I love it. The reality is, okay, life happens and you get to choose. Are you going to be a victim, which keeps you at status quo? That's where, that's going to be that spot that you choose to just be in. You don't want to have anything change. You're going to look for those things. Or are you going to be accountable, which is going to require an equal change? That's not only changing yourself, that's going to be changing circumstances. That's going to be changing the amount of money you make, right? And all of that. So the reason why I go into that is because, a few things. But one, I'm going to read this quote. It's with an accountable mindset, how can we hold ourselves accountable if we don't know our goals and our numbers? A lot of us, if I go back to that accountable spot, we don't know our numbers when we're sitting down with our coach. We don't know how many people we've talked to. We don't know how much money we've made. We don't know the amount of deals that we've closed, right? Until we have to do our taxes. So, and then hopefully we can get it right. So this whole thing is like, the reality is we're just past halfway through the year, right? In about 2.5 months, just over, it's 8 months, right? We're actually just, okay. Really, in reality, we're actually, the year's basically over. Because if you look at real estate, we're 2.5 months left of that business that will, like, the work that we do today, we only have 2.5 months to make business that will happen on this paycheck, on this year. After that, the last 2.5 months are all for next year. Which is crazy, right?
We gotta start talking to our investors today.
Yeah, talk to those investors who want to close out this year, right? So my question though is to think about this, like, how are you doing? Where are you at on your goal? What do you want to do? Because what we're going to go through with this economic model is to help you understand your numbers. And it's to help you understand not only how you're doing, but what needs to happen, or what you need to do to be accountable to yourself to then make that change, make that happen of what's happening next. So from the Millionaire Real Estate Agent book, it says, now whether you realize it or not, you have an economic model. Every business does, every real estate agent does. The issue is not having an economic model. Rather, the issue is whether you understand the one you have and whether it can get you to the net income you want. So let's play a game. First of all, who in this room has read this book? All right, you guys have an advantage. Halfway, cool. You have an advantage for this game. Make your best guess. We'll just have fun with it. But I have a couple questions all from this book to kind of get us in that spot. So the first question is in the MREA, Millionaire Real Estate Agent, with an average sales of 250,000, how many closed sales would you need in order to keep $1 million
183.
in your month? 183, okay. What else?
I'm gonna need a calculator.
There's one on the phone.
Right. Any other ideas? How many? What's your guesses? Remember, this is 250. This book is a little outdated. The information is not, but the numbers are. That has changed. But how many to keep the money in your pocket?
8, 6.
6 deals?
No, no, no.
200.
Well, so
200.
250,000. That's like one.
That's the sale price. That's
No, that's a great mission.
All right, all right. This is good. Okay,
134.
134. 320.
Oh, okay.
Not 4.
Definitely not 4. Someone said 200. So, okay, 320 cells at 250 is where you keep $1 million in your pocket. Right? Next question. According to the MREA book, what would be the average conversion rate from listing appointment to seller listings taken? So every time you go on an appointment, you sit down with someone, what would be the average conversion rate from a millionaire real estate producer?
10.
10, 60%? 20%?
We're not very good at this game.
All right. And you're all low, 80%. Because remember, this is a millionaire real estate producer. This is not a new agent. They're not new agent conversion rates. This is somebody who has a millionaire real estate agent business, right? 80%. So that's what you should be striving for. How do every 10 appointments you go on, you drop down 8 of them. Okay.
Oh, no.
More numbers. Okay, what model would the MREA use for a team regarding profit, operating expenses, and cost of sales? A, B, C, D, or E? There's no E either.
E.
Go one.
For a team,
For a team.
A.
A, D, C.
Any individual information.
Okay, it's C.
I thought that was individual.
Nope, that's team. So, and I'll show you the individual numbers we're going through. Like if you're a solo,
I want 100% profit.
it's
Yes, go with that.
yeah,
That's what we're gonna.
100% profit. Yep, I love it. Okay, good. Next one. The MREA, and this is of course, okay. with 250 price point, how many monthly sales does a team need in order to net a million? Same question, just monthly.
Oh, monthly.
So
Divided by 12. 320 divided by 12.
325 by 12. So, okay, good. All right, last question. What is the easiest way to improve your close ratio from appointments to listings taken?
That's a lie.
That's not, just have it so they're already signed. No, that's a good one. What else?
That would improve it for me to hear that's fine.
Yeah, if you only did SOI, your number would be better than if you had random appointments. What else?
Make them feel comfortable.
Script practice and conversation mastery. This is practicing and improving your skills, right? It was a trick.
Make them feel
Phil Jones is the answer. All right. Okay, here is the model. This is what the exact breakdown, right? So leads come in. All right. You have, if you were going to do $1 million as a team, you have to have 25, basically 26 listing appointments and 26 buyer appointments. Then the rates are different for people who pick buyers and pick listings, like as an agent. But the cool part is it flip-flops after you are hired, right? These are just the averages. This is them combing through the data. A lot of times when I do the model, which we're going to do in a second, the economic model, I do 75, 75 as like your benchmark, what you should be shooting for. Convert 75% and have 75% of those go to the finish line, right? So we'll kind of talk about that. Okay. The reality though is, with this whole law, with this just whole concept, is what you focus on expands, right? So where you put your focus, it goes that way, right? If you are focusing on eating healthier, then you eat healthier. It's a weird concept, right? If you focus on getting in shape, then you do go and do a little bit more of working out, whatever that looks like. If we focus on your numbers and your business and what you want to have, you're going to get more of what you want to have. Make sense? Okay, here's the rules. So this is the terminology and the concept behind it, and then we're going to go in and I'm going to let you do your numbers. The first one is this right here. There's 3 basic things. You need to know what your gross revenue is, how much total comes in the door. 2, you need to know your expenses. There's 2 categories for expenses that we're going to talk about. And then 3, the net income. That's the goal. That's how much you have in your pocket, right? Which we have a couple people in here who want 100% net income.
So it's going to be really easy for us to.
Yes,
Run those numbers.
those numbers and math, just because you charge 100% commission anyways. Right? That's how you did your math. 100% commission. So $250,000 place, that's how much I make.
Then we're going to get those 6 here.
Yeah. 6 closings a year.
Okay. Sell your own.
I love it. Okay, here's the 4 elements. First one, gross commission income. This is your total commission earned. The total amount of money that comes into your company, comes into your business. Okay. The next one is cost of sales. I want to specify this. Who knows the difference between cost of sales and operating expenses?
So those ones are fees paid out as a percentage of the transaction, like referral fees.
Okay, referral fees go in there. What else goes in there? It does say it. So
The buyer budget.
I know. So anybody who's in the room can answer this question. But the reality is it's things that come out because you had a deal. It's not something that happens because you're doing a business.
TC.
TC would be a cost of sale.
Photography would not be a.
Photography would not be a cost of sale. Because if you don't sell the place, it still costs you. It was the cost of doing business. Right? And putting these in the right category helps you understand where you're at. So that these 2 right here, if you're running a team, you should be doing your very best. And of course, if you do better, then great. But you should be saying, all right, 30% goes to the cost of sell. That's going to be paying other agents on your team. That's going to be paying for your, because like, if you're on a 50-50 split with the buyer's agent, and then you close a deal, then technically you pay them 50%, and that's the cost of sell in that line, right? But anything that costs you the money to do the deal. Then the next one is your expenses. This is your expenses for having it where you just have a business. So you bought the photography, you bought, there's different things, right? This one's an easier one that a lot of items into, which is great. For taxes. Okay, and the last one is net income. This is what officially comes to you. This is the goal of having a business. This is the goal, right? That's where it's like, I love that you're wanting to have 100%. Of course, that's not reality, but I'm glad that you have that idea.
Hey, I am in my own reality.
You are in your own reality. So this is the goal. This is what you're shooting for. This is what makes it where you're having a life worth living, right? A lot of times I've seen it where teams have it where they do their 1,000 cells, but then when you actually look at their P&L, the amount of money that they make is not very cool, right? So this number of having a net income of what you want and how you want that to look is important. So understanding this model helps you help your business. Okay, here's kind of the reality. That was the economic model. The big part is, this is where most people are. Most people, they are not sure where their money will come from. Most people, they are not sure which costs are critical and which ones are not. And they can't be sure of how much they will be left with at the end of the year. Right. So, here's the big things you need to focus on. And this is what the economic model will give you your numbers. Is one, what are the numbers you need to hit? Two, how many appointments do you need to go on? That right there is probably the biggest factor. If you know that number, then everything else follows. And then three, what's your conversion rate? If you track these numbers and know it and like say, hey, I know what I was saying that I should do, how did I do? Then you'll be able to know very much why you're off, which helps you to stay accountable, right? So when I'm meeting up with someone and they say, oh, I'm just not hitting my goal, and they say it's because of the market does affect it. That means that you have to have more, maybe your conversion rates are lower because of how the market is, right? It just means that we have to figure out what does that look like. So here's kind of what we're going to do. We're going to go into the economic model and let you do it, right? Ultimately, this is it. So for a solo agent, your goal is 70% income. 70% should be net, right? You should have 10% operating costs and 20% cost of sales.
There's all that stuff in the book.
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah. It's all in the book. The great part is, I also recommend that you guys should shoot for 50-50. You should aim for 50% of your deals or listings, and 50% are buyers. Which means what do you have to focus on? Not both.
Listings.
Listings. Because listings will naturally bring you buyers. So the more you focus on listings and how you get more listings, that's where then you're going to have as more of an even business. Okay? And you can see I put 75% conversion rates instead of those other ones, because this is where I feel like when I've done the numbers, it helps in that way. So what I have for you is, I have a link. So I want each of you to do it right now. If you're, on Zoom, you can then of course take this and do it later as well. This right here, you have to say start. Just message start after you pull this one up. It will walk you through and have you answer the questions. And then it's going to give you all of your math. Instead of doing all the math by hand, this right here is the right way to have it be where you can make that happen. You can know your numbers. The only things you need to know is actually what you want to do, how much money you want to make. And after you have this, I'm just going to kind of talk through a little bit, and then I'm going to actually just have fun chatting to you guys in the room. But ultimately, the thing is, this is going to give you a few things. And the big things that you want to see from it is one, how many conversations do you need? This is gonna pull out and give you, based on some statistics, how many people you need to talk to throughout the year and the, the month that you wanted that to get your goal. Right? And then that's gonna say, hey, how many appointments can I do from there? Hey, well, who's going through it? Where you is that? Oh, yeah. It's not, you go through break with your computer. So it's gonna go through, the questions it's gonna ask are, first of all, are you team or solo? Because and I added in, by the way, you'll see taxes. And I did extreme on taxes. I did, if you don't know how to do any tax planning, you're paying 30%, right? As someone who makes good money. So in the ideal world, this is actually pushing you to make more, then you did better on your taxes, and you now have some money.
Makes sense.
Which is what I don't want you guys not having less money. So we're gonna plan for doing that whole amount, right? It's gonna then tell you and calculate how much you need to make. You're gonna wanna put in a few numbers. One is your average commission. If you don't have your average commission, the office's average commission is 15,500. Is the average commission of the office. So if you want to use that number, you can. If you know your own, like if you're a little more on the luxury side, you know your commission is closer to 22 or 25,000, then that's what you put in, right? But that's where this is going to give you those numbers. So I'm just curious, while people are working through it, what are some ahas that you're seeing? What are some questions that you have? I'll walk through it. Average commission. Nice. And hopefully this is giving you, okay, how am I doing and where am I at on that part so I can understand the best, like, okay, how am I doing on my conversation counts, right? If I'm going to work for the whole year and I want to make $50,000, right? What is that going to be right now to do that? One of my favorite things that I have in there is also asking you how many work weeks you want. And the reason I ask you that question is because you're here to build your business in a way that you can have a life. So I want you to purposely think about that, right? And then it's like, if you want to be like some of our cool agents who just got back from Hawaii and take off the last 5 months in Hawaii, not that long. Then you have to, of course, account for that, right? So plan your life. How do you want it to look? Do you want to be having your 2 weeks vacation? Do you want to have your, 1 week a month vacation? Like, what is that looking like for you to hit your goal? And then you can plan from there to know how much you need to be doing.
So fun fact, you can also say what are the numbers if I want to increase my average commission to some other number, then it will adjust.
Yeah, the cool thing is you're in ChatGPT, so you can also then ask more questions. You can have it like help coach you afterwards. But what I did is I wanted to start with the fundamental aspect of this economic model so you can build from there. Okay, Well, awesome, everyone. I know, redundant. So,
Perfect timing.
okay, yeah, so if you're on Zoom, of course, or if you're looking at this online, then, use this and figure out the numbers, so. Thanks, everyone. We're gonna, of course, chat, I just wanted to. Any other on this part, though? You should do this, Mello, pull out your phone.
But it's like, I'm driving all day, I'm not doing math.
The nice thing is you don't have to do the math.